Okay. Hello again. Robert Dakota with Worldviews Media. I just happened to be able to get James Vieira and Carl Coleman on the line at the same time. And we have James here with us now, and he's going to be speaking at the Earth Origins virtually because he's caught up in a super cool job in Aspen, Colorado right now. So why don't you tell us about your topic and a little bit about you and what you're up to right now, James?
Yeah, thanks, Robert. I'm a stonemason by trade. I've been a television host for a number of ancient mystery shows and appeared on like a dozen other shows on travel and science and history channels. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I'm a stonemason by trade. I don't know if I said that. Uh, and I guess a metaphysical researcher. I've been drawn to the non-dualists since my late teens, the mystics, Edgar Cayce, Rudolf Steiner, Blavatsky. Uh, Basically just compelled, if you will. Obsessed is the wrong word, but just completely overtaken by these subjects at an early age, probably like 14 or 15. And I've read a mountain of books and academic papers, and it just hasn't stopped. I find very little interesting and enthralling like these subjects. Society, sports, things like that, they've all fallen away. Like I find that most of what society kicks out is very boring and pointless. But I am completely riveted by this material. And what I'm going to speak about next week is Edgar Cayce's claim of a lost hall of records being under the power of the Sphynx in Egypt. And I'm not dogmatic about the Cayce material, but it intuitively rings true to me. So I try to verify it scientifically. A lot of his stuff has been posthumously verified by science about the Nile River flowing backwards, and when they revealed the Dead Sea Scrolls, other things that he spoke about were proven true. So you have to meet these claims with objectivity and scientific validation. You just can't be a true believer and cook up a conspiracy. So there's a lot going on the fringes of these subjects. There's a lot of true believers and pseudo skeptics, and I try to meet in the middle and be reasonable, hopefully. So I will talk about the Arab legends of the Lost Hall of Records, about the different explorations that are going on now, the different authors and explorers like Robert Temple, Robert Bauval, Graham Hancock, Robert Schoch, the Cayce Foundation, who have been exploring the Giza Plateau and what they're pointing to, and what excavations are going on now. So I'll just bring the whole story into focus, and I will talk about the nature of the Egyptian gods, which is very strange. They are on the walls of the Temple of Edfu. The building texts specifically state that the Ennead, the 9 original gods, were all self-fertilizing androgens. And when you realize that, you take that to the other cultures around the world, and you realize that Quetzalcoatl, Viracocha in Peru, they were androgynous beings as well. All the Sumerian gods were androgynous. And then you get into the Pacific Islands, Australia, the Native Americans, like the Zunis, had androgynous gods. And you realize that the gods are beings possibly of extraterrestrial origin, who seem to jumpstart society sometime between 3 and 4,000 BC, and they show up around the world. So I will map out what the myths and legends and the documents specifically state about these beings, and try to point to what I believe is in the Lost Hall of Records, if it is to be found there, and talk about the metaphysical implications of that. Once again, non-dualism, quantum mechanics, these things that are really coming up in our consciousness now, are subjects people want to know more about. So I'll lastly say I've studied with an enlightened spiritual teacher for about 25 years. My brother and I have visit him weekly, transcribe all the interactions, and he's one of a handful of enlightened masters in the last 100 years. And oddly enough, he lives a half an hour from my house, and we have gleaned quite a bit of information. I'm not claiming to be enlightened myself. If you meet me, you clearly will realize that. But I think I've gleaned a lot of insights from an enlightened being as to the nature of reality, the best way to approach this experience, and where we are headed. So I thank you for putting on this event, and I appreciate it.
Nice. Thank you, James. I appreciate all your work and all the guys that are going to be showing up, all the guys who like to wade into the alternative realms of thinking and possibilities. So that's what the event's going to be about. And, we'll have a live stream for those who can't show up in person. Okay, James, thank you again so much. And we'll catch up again soon.
Cool, Robert. Nice to see you, Carl. Take care, brother. And yeah, you guys be well.